Good morning, Flosstube. It's Pam, stitching between the lines. Today is Monday, September 1st, 2025, Labor Day here in the United States, where we celebrate people who have worked hard all year and with a day off, except, plenty of people still have to work. And Labor Day always means the start of the school year in New York State. So school starts here this week, various days in various districts. So some tomorrow, some Wednesday, some Thursday that I know about. So anyway, yeah, it's Flosstube number 153 on Labor Day 2025. Quiet Monday morning with beautiful sun. It's kind of chilly still, 64 degrees. It was 50 when I got up. So love it, not complaining. Perfect. Windows open, all the things. So I was organizing myself for my Flosstube and filling out my planner as I do with some of the details for the month, the WIPCO, what my focus project is, that kind of thing. I feel like it looks a little blank, so I'm wondering what I forgot. Don't know. Last month in August, I accidentally had written all of the July temperatures for my temperature chart on August, so I had to cross them out and put in the correct ones. Made it look busy, I guess. It was a very, very busy month, with not as much stitching as I would have liked. I know I always have visions of grandeur. That's a consistent thing, but this month, I had those visions and I didn't get anywhere near it, but I made progress. It was still a good month. So my planner continues. I discovered this is the way I'm keeping my planner this year and maybe for the future. I don't know. This is a 2-year planner called I Practice Stitchcraft. And so instead of writing my whips every month down the column, I've got them in the front of the book, and then I cross them off as I finish them, add them as I start them, cross them off as I finish them. And I started the year with 12. I have more than that now, maybe 19. Which isn't horrible, so it goes on to the next page. But I discovered I had neglected to add some. I was even on my my X Stitch app, I had not added one. So I don't know. My mind isn't on my work, I guess. But I've got that all reconciled, and I'm back in business with my planner up to date. I alternate red and blue ink for things. Just it helps when there's a whole long list, just to see things better. So anyway, those are here. Keep those in there. So for the month of August, I picked my main piece, which is a non-WIPCO, usually a big whip, but it's something out of the original 12 whips. Not a hard and fast rule. It could be one of the WIPCO things. It just hasn't been yet. In the beginning of the year, I finished WIPCO pieces as they were called, but that's not happening anymore. So my focus piece was Summer Sampler by Jan Lynn, and I bought the kit years ago on a Stash Unload website because I don't think you can't buy these anymore, but you can buy the pattern on Cooler Design Studio's website. You can buy the PDF. You may even be able to get a paper pattern of this. I don't know. When I search things on there, I usually search under PDF because I want a PDF. So anyway, I had this, and then I worked on it for a month last year, I think, and then I bought the PDF, thank God, because holy cow, it gets, like I talked about this last month, when I stitched it, that's a fork, like picnic stuff. This little vignette is picnic stuff, and there's a fork in there. I could not keep myself straight on the half stitches that made that fork look normal. And then you get up into this, oh, it's just so many things, small things. Sorry, there's a glare. Let me. I don't want to take it out of the plastic. So anyway, all of these Jan Lynn samplers, which is a winter, spring, summer, fall. Maybe fall is called autumn. I don't know. It has one part of it that's sort of the most detailed picture. I remember when I did the winter one, that one took a good long time. I had wanted to bring the winter one to show you, but I'm looking across the room on my wall where I hang things that don't go out into the main house until the season. So there's some Christmas things hanging over there, but that's not over there. So it's got to be put away in one of the boxes that stores my stuff. So didn't bring it out. That picture is a bigger picture. Anyway, so I really am so glad I bought the PDF to go into Pattern Keeper. And I made fabulous progress. When I showed this last month, I had none of this. I had some of this, a lot of this. I'm not sure I'd touched any of these yet. I started blogging years ago. I'm going to speculate 15 years ago. And even before that, because my oldest hadn't graduated high school yet. And I still could not make myself take before pictures. And it's not gotten any better. I enjoy it when a Flosstuber shows a before picture, but I'm still in my mind, even when they show that before picture, I'm trying to like remember, what did I just see when they put up the new thing? Anyway, so that's why I'm describing to you the best I can. I had this done, this done, this done, this mostly done. And so I hoped in the month of August to finish all the way across the top, this guy and this guy, these sections. I didn't project this one, but this is nothing but outline stitches. I had hoped also in my mind to get to 50%, because when I put in everything I had done, I was in the low 20s, but I did not get there. I am at maybe 42%. And this section really bogs you down, but I got it done and it's outlined. Outlining in PDF does not count in stitches, but this took a long time, not a long time, but it could, if I worked on it all at once, have been an entire evening stitching. That back stitching, you could spend an entire evening just back stitching and still not finish a section. But I persevered because I know that when you get this back out and see the back stitching, it will be so inspiring. So I'm not at 50%. I'd like to be at 50%, but I feel like 2 more good months of focus on this would get it done, because there's a bunch more of these areas that, while it takes an entire evening maybe to stitch that's a lot of square inches that you accomplish in just one evening, more than you could, me personally, do if you were doing this, for example. So I've got the most complicated part done and some tedious parts done, and I'm working my way. I kind of had to hold myself back from working in here because I knew it would kind of go quickly, and just focus on getting those outlines done. Probably I'm going to come over here because I stitch in hand and I roll it and I hold it over here. I don't want this all stitched and then have me roll it and stitch it. So a lot of words to say. I believe next time this comes out, whenever that might be, I will be over here working on the ribbon and this young lady and the peanuts and the baseball and that sort of thing. And hopefully really 2 more months of it being a focus piece could get it done. It's just so gorgeous. I could almost keep going. I say that sometimes when I'm working on something for a full month. I think I might need to keep going on this, but then I actually finished this morning, so not really a cheater, but kind of. I mean, it's September 1st, whatever. Before I put it away, I just wanted to finish, like, a section that was simple. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going before I fessed up to finishing this technically tomorrow now. Oh, if I think to myself I could keep going, but I had to sort of drag myself through this and drag myself last night through some of the outlining up here to get that done. So it's not coming out for more time. It had its month, and I imagine it won't be out again until next year, 2026. But never say never. I don't know where the bag is. I thought I had the bag over here and it's not. So then I also just to do it, picked up this piece that I picked up back in July, I think. and gave it like an arbitrary for no good reason. In the beginning of July, when I thought I was going to have lots of stitching time, I started it. I showed it last month. I had exactly 7 stitches in there, and I could not tell you which way was up. So I pulled it out one afternoon and put a few more stitches in it so that we can see which way is up. Ooh, ooh, baby. I did not press it, did not put it on a board because, you know, time is time. So I now know which way I'm going. You know, here we go. That's part of the cookie, the bit of the cookie in there. So this is a cute pattern, but I just wanted to put a few more stitches in there to make it all identifiable so that I could pull it out quick and be able to work on it if the mood struck me. So there was that one. And then I should get out temperature birds. My temperature birds is a thing I started back in January because it seemed like a good idea at the time. Now it's the end of August, and holy cow, I'm not done yet. It's a pattern available online. I only know to call it right this second to tell you temperature birds. Purchase the PDF. Pretty sure it was a purchase and not a free. And then my birds all have 2 colors in them for the high and the low, which makes them fabulously colorful. Really like that. Doesn't take that much longer to just do 2 colors. Somewhere in August, I messed up and I skipped a bird's temperature. I don't know. I was doing I had like 10 days lined up to go, and I got through 3 of them and realized something was wrong. And some days are just more challenging than others, I guess, to keep track of which bird you're doing. And when I pull out a color, and like these 3 birds maybe have the same color, and you think I'll do this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then you go back and you start the second color, but I only need it here and then down here, then you start to get screwed up as to which bird you're doing, like what day it is, because there's nothing that numbers these pretty little birds. So I ended up having to take some out, and I realized I'd only done the 3 that I did that day wrong. And I feel like there was more taking out of the bodies, but maybe it was just really hard to get those colors out. Got back on track, got those underway, and then I started on September's rows and have a thread here and a thread here this morning. So I started making this after I finished the Carolyn Manning's, which was my early morning stitch. I started to make this my morning stitch. I thought, this is a long-term project. I can work on it, and if I do the whatever birds that I need to do with their colors, I can do some more bodies, some more lines, some whatever. But it's not proving to work all that well. You hear the geese? The geese are here flying around the lakes. That means fall is coming when there's that many of them. Anyway, I just can't see. I think it's 28 count, but the problem is it's just early in the morning. I don't want to get my magnifier out. So I got this thread already. I was going to do, there's a bird up here in the air. I couldn't count myself to the right spot. So I'm like, all right, this is not working so well. And then this morning when I was getting it on the board, I saw this. I don't know if you can see it. You should be able to see it. Can you see where there's like a little bit more fabric, like a little dent right there? I just did this the other day where I came down on this side so I could do, this side had already been down. So I was coming across the telephone pole from the right to the left, but then obviously I need to get the left-hand side done. My stitch is in the wrong hole. So I missed right there. I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I saw it right away, so I may just put some thread in a needle and just go make the correct stitch in there so it stops looking like that blob of little tiny fleck of fabric is there. It looks like something's wrong. I don't like it, don't want it. It's a mistake. I'd rather fix it than just pretend it's not there. And when I did the birds wrong, I put it away and I thought, let me see if I can figure out how to pretend that's not wrong. Like, which bird how do I do that? Because at this point I'm going to have a bird with no body. Do I double up dates? No, I fixed it. So when I found out it was only 3 birds I had to pick out, it wasn't the end of the world. So there's my temperature birds, which I'm plodding along with. And then the Whipco polls for the month of August were number, I don't know, and I don't know. I don't have I took them all out of there. 12 and 15. I took them out of their bags where the numbers are. 12 and 15. So one of them was scattered seed samplers, spring gathering, and spring delivery. 2 of them together because I want to stitch them together. I started this and it started off all gangbusters. I'm like, all right, I am going to get these 2 bunnies done. No, there's 1 bunny. That's it. And he's not even done. In fact, I had to pull the needle through. I stopped like mid-stitch. So he's all threaded and ready to be filled in, but not done. That's okay. Everything doesn't have to get done the month it's called. I had lots of days with 0 stitching. There was some traveling, just things, family obligations, things and things, just like everybody's life. The other Whipco pull was Little House Needleworks Take Me Out to the Ball Game, which I've really been wanting to stitch for a long time. And I got it started and I had plans. I shouldn't tell you all the plans I thought I had. I had plans like, what if I do 1 person a day? Yeah, no, didn't happen. So it's underway and they're so cute. I think I haven't figured out how I'm going to do the eyes. I think they're probably French knots. I might look at my bead collection and see if I have beads that are appropriate color and size. So that was, I'm going to bend down, so excuse me. Just putting my boards over there. So that was my August stitching. Wasn't too bad, right? Wasn't horrible. I wanted to see what was in here. Oh, one of the Whipcos coming up. So for the month of September, I have chosen as my focus piece one I'm always really excited to do my focus pieces. They don't get worked on because sometimes there are some that don't get worked on because I'm not excited. But I picked Rural Post Office at Christmas, which I have been working on for a few years. And I've worked on it once already this year, and I've kind of been focusing. I didn't put this on a board. I just remembered to go over there and get the project back because I almost forgot. I've been focusing on various quadrants, you know. So this most recent time working on it was on the truck in the man. So look at that. Oh my gosh. It's to die for. I talked last time about how I could not force myself to do any backstitching. So now I have backstitching to do in this whole section, but it's all done over here, and the bricks are really tedious. These are hard to backstitch. The whole thing was a lot of tedious backstitching, but those trees, no joke, but they look so fabulous when they're done. So I have backstitching. It's all the way over this hall, all the way up into this corner is done. So I have the whole side of the building. Let's look together. I have the side of the building, the sign, and then a lot of snow to do, and then the backstitching over in this section. I don't have a plan of attack. I will just work on what feels good at the time. Could I finish it in September? Wouldn't that be exciting? If I don't finish it in September, I'm kind of making a small plan in my head for December where some of these pieces I've either very close to finishing or haven't worked on yet this year that are out of my original 12. I might give them each a week, but we'll see. We cannot hold me to these things. It's just an idea floating out there because there are some of those original 12 that I don't really want to do. I do. I clearly want to do them. I think I don't want them to be the focus. They could be the minor. They could be a little bit of what I work on at the same time that I'm working on my very excited to work on Whipco pieces. So I don't know. Time will tell. this is going to get pulled out, left out, I can start on it tonight. I'll be happy to do that. Whipco was 14 and 18, and number 14 is Candy Cane Wishes. Isn't that cute? There is some fabric in there that's a slight green color. Is it the called for? I don't really know. Look at it. It's all beautifully kitted up. So it calls for it. Just because it's called for, I don't consider that like part of the like the stitch, like the colors and the threads. That's what I'll stay true to, but not so much the fabric color. Calls for a 40 count R&R Reproductions linen salt marsh green, which I'm not sure anybody, I don't know. I have a piece of 28 count Lugana called Pampas, Pampas, P-A-M-P-A-S, Pampas. So that is going to be my color. And I don't think it's as pretty green as it looks in real life. Right here, it looks kind of brown. But you'll have to wait and see when I pull it out and work on it. Then it'll be all out of the bag and it'll have thread on it, and we can tell better what it is. So that is ready to go. My zipper is not working correctly. Let's see, did something get stuck? Maybe. I know that'll be, in a little while problem. And then the other piece, number 18, was something else I was very excited to work on this year. Shannon Christine's Sugar Plum Village. Maybe I don't know, something on the roof. So I had to pull the blind down because the sun was shining too bright. But the other window is two windows are open. So I don't know if that's something on my roof. Okay, Shannon Christine Designs Sugar Plum Village is so pretty. Oh my gosh. I have a fascination with these like Christmas Village type pieces, like from the European Christmas markets. I had a Whipco piece that was one pickle barrel designs that I started, and this one's just a whole different level. So pretty, so very pretty. I'm looking forward to that. The threads, the fabric. I have a 1/4 yard of vintage country mocha. Yeah. So those are my Whipco draws, and there, my whole pile over here is empty of things to show you, cross stitch related. I looked at Marketplace, whatever, and I saw things I liked, but nothing I had to buy right away, except for Tiny Town, the Quilt Village, the quilt, I don't know its name, bought that, and the Fribbles. But not really plans to start it. I didn't kit it up or anything, which is what I'm prone to doing when something like that comes out that I love. But I might. When it comes to Whipco 2026, it is time to start thinking about how I'm going to approach that, what I'm going to fill in the gaps with. Everything that was on the Whipco board and had a number that I'm not done with will go back on the board, same number. My original 12, I do not intend to put on the board, but I may end up, simply because I'm not choosing them to work on. So I think I need that like little forced, kind of thing, which that might only be 2 or 3, because there's still 4 months left of this year, right? That I could work on them. September, summer, yep, 4. That I could pull them out and work on them. And then, so whatever I'm going to fill in the gaps with, it's time to see about whatever's happening with my shirt is making me crazy. I may need to do some shopping to fully get those ready to start. Do they need thread? Do I need to go through my fabric stash? That kind of thing. So it is time to start thinking about that. And then have a Whipco plan in place by December. But I fully intend to do just like I did this year, where this year Whipco was 100% new starts. Those new starts that I didn't finish need to carry through and not get neglected. And then My original 12 I intended to keep as originals and just watch them whittle down. That might have to change a little bit. We'll go over those when it's time for a whip parade and talk about what's happening with them. So that's enough of that. As far as books go, I have been talking how many months that I've been reading The Patriots by Sana Krasikov. It's a big book, and so it's just a slightly slow read. So it's not my sometimes my primary book, and sometimes not. I never felt like I knew the main character. Certainly could not begin to imagine what motivated her to, out of nowhere, get on a ship and go to Russia because she thought her life in Brooklyn was boring, or whatever burg of New York she was lived in. There was a man involved, and I think she thought she was following him and that she could just show up in his town and he'd be delighted to see her because she never contacted him. It was weird, and he didn't really have a place for her in his life. And I think possibly the whole intent of the book, I'll never be an English major, I'll never be a literature major, I'll never be any of those things, was to teach us about life in Russia for, from the time before World War II till almost modern day. The book has been out for a few years. I think 2008 is the most recent. But I didn't understand the methodology of that. There was a lot of things that were horrifying. She, as an American who went to Russia, was, they stole her American citizenship because you have to register all the time to be allowed to stay. And at one point they took her passport and never returned it. So then she was sort of like a prisoner. And then her intent was never to steal Russian knowledge and send it home. It was never any of that. But she was kind of being accused of being a spy. She married somebody, and there's a lot going on. There was a lot. This woman's son came back as an adult. His adult son had moved to Russia because of his grandmother and always just loved her. And so the woman's son comes back as a businessman, and there's lots of business meetings. And I know the whole point was for us to understand how corrupt things were as a businessman trying to, find contractors, or it was just really weird. It just went on whole tangents. Like at one point she's in a prison of war camp, in Siberia, and she's, just barely functioning. And she speaks English and Russian, which at this point is not that bizarrely uncommon in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 60s. And she's plucked out of her camp and taken miles away to a different camp so that she can translate for a prisoner of war who was from the United States, who was who was a pilot and was shot down, and they wanted information from him. And so a very long chapter about that, which just seems so bizarre, about how somebody snuck her the vitamins she needed to get over her scurvy. And it just seems so weirdly out of place and bizarre that she, a failing 40-something-year-old woman, would be plucked out of her camp miles and miles away because she could translate. Really? I don't know. That was a really long chapter. So I don't want to say bad things about a saga. I just could not connect to any of the people. And it went on and on. And my book, if we recall, was missing 40 pages. So the sad fact is I have to, throw this book away. I had to get it out of the library to bridge that gap. So I had to wait a little while for it, and then, read from that book, and then could return it and pick up again in this book. So it's just it was a whole lot of odd. I like family sagas. That's the thing, is I like a saga that, generational, and it's just, and I looked forward to it. Wasn't one of my favorites. So there's that. So I have a friend who is in a book club, a library book club, and one of their assignments was to read a James Patterson book. And I have never read a James Patterson book. I wrote myself, oh, there it is. I was going to say, I wrote myself a little list of the things to talk about. So, okay. So before I picked the James Patterson book, there was that fact that I have never read one. And I know I don't even know if he's still alive. I could have Googled that, but he co-authors. His name is up there with a lot of other authors. So anyway, we were traveling. We were going to be traveling. And so I wanted to go to the library and get a book for travel, because probably this was the only book I was reading, and I can read in the car. I just need an easier reading book. And so I wanted to stop at the library. And this is the first time that I have gone to one of the libraries in the library system where I could use my new gold card. So I was kind of excited about that. So I stop at the library the morning we're going to leave, and we weren't leaving till after lunch, so I could do some errands and whatnot. And I go in the library, and I went to look. I ended up looking on the large print shelf, because that's even a bonus, is that if it's a large print book and in the car, I can really read it with no problems. And they had some James Patterson books, and they had one called The 19th Christmas. And it's about 4 women that, I guess, if I read the back of it, it led me to believe they solve crimes. They all have a different position in, like, one of them was an investigator, one of them is ME, and one of them, I think, is in the DA's office. She might be the DA or an assistant DA or whatever. And I'm not really sure what the 4th one is. I feel like one of them was not very well represented in this book. The 19th Christmas is apparently the 19th book in this whole series. So they don't really fill you in fully on the history of all the people. But I understood that. You pick up a series in the 19th book, you're going to miss something. Do you hear that bird? They're happy with the cooler temperatures. So I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed it enough to go back and see if I could find the first book, which I got. So I got myself on the list for the audio version, and I didn't get notified that it was available. I just suddenly on my iPad saw a notification that had apparently popped up on the screen that said I did not check it out in my 3-day window, and they would try again in 7 days. So I keep trying to go back. I have 2 different libraries on my Libby app. There's Libby and there's another one. But at any rate, I keep trying to go in and figure out, how do I change my email in there, or that my notification comes via email. And maybe when I checked it out, I should have made that specification. So anyway, back to the library on a Friday morning with my gold library card, excited to use it. I go to the counter to check out, and my library card is not in my wallet. It's nowhere in there. I had it out to show all of you a month ago, and I have a memory of me plucking that off of this work surface here and putting it back in my wallet. So anyway, don't have it. Had a nice conversation with the woman at the library who also had just gotten hers. And I was so bummed, but we were leaving. I wasn't going back home. So I'm like, oh no, where's my library card? And so I text my daughter and I said, I went to the library and I couldn't find my card. And she said she had also gone to the library, a different library that morning, and couldn't wait to pull out her card. And the only thing open at that library was the self-checkout. So it's sort of an epic fail on for both of us to, get to pull out our gold library card. She's probably pulled hers out before. This would have been the first time for me. So I came home, and yes, indeed, mine was right here on this work surface. And I thought, how for an entire month? That just goes to show how cluttered my space is. It was right there, right where I had it last time I spoke to you. So that was kind of like, makes you doubt yourself, I guess. So now it's in my wallet. Yeah, so that was a bummer. Now I have to go back to the library. So anyway, that's the reading of my life. I think things will calm down in September. It's usually really kind of too cold to do water things. It's not like it's too cold to get the boat out. What's nice is there won't be a lot of boat traffic anymore on the weekends. This weekend, Labor Day, was shockingly without boat traffic. That's interesting. So anyway, yeah, I don't know that there's anything else of noteworthy to talk about. I have been quilting like it's gonna go out of style or something, but not anything to show you. I don't have. Everybody wants too much specific information. If I've just been working away on something from fabric I pulled out of wherever or started a year ago, too many questions. If I don't have all the answers when I lead into it, it's regrettable. So we're just leaving it at that. Lots of laundry's going on, and yeah, it's an exciting life. Had kids here yesterday, so even though it's a holiday Monday, it'll be the quiet one where I do all the laundry and whatnot. And I'm starting to unpack some fall decorations. I'm not feeling it in the same way. Like, I have a lot of fall, second only to Christmas. A lot of fussy little whatevers. And this year I'm just not feeling it. I'm looking through the bins, pulling out a bare minimum of things. But that's okay. Everything doesn't have to be the same every year. So, yeah. So hope everybody is doing well and is fall where you are, and that it's cooling down, and all the good positive thoughts. So we will talk to you soon. See you at the end of this month or the beginning of October.